How did you find out your sir was cheating on you? Her boyfriend called me on speaker after a night on the town with my friends. I told him we'd been dating for a year now. And I didn't know he existed. Asked him if he was the friend that visited her a couple months ago and stayed on the couch. He said yes, but I wasn't on the couch. I let him know that for me that settles it. That I was done with her. And never wanted to see her again. He didn't either. As far as I know, we both broke up with her at the same time. Seemed like a great guy though. Kinda wanted to grab a beer with him. Edit. She was sitting next to him, crying her eyes out. Which is why it was on speaker. Forgot that part. She told me so. She went to a birthday party and FK'd the birthday boy. When I then broke up with her, she went into full rage mode screaming, "How dare you? And I'm gonna find a guy and make him fall in love with me just so I can break up with him and hurt him the way you did with me." I never knew what that meant. But I'm glad we broke up. I actually learned due to my cat. So my GF didn't work while I did. So she was often staying at my place alone while I was working throughout the week. One day my cat pissed on a pile of clothes she had left laying in the room over the week and came to bitch me out about it. And I apologized and offered to just take them to the laundromat to get them cleaned. In the pile of clothes was a pair of male boxers, not mine, and some socks that were neither mine nor hers. I took her cat pissed stained clothes along with that dude's underwear and told her to get out of my apartment. What a good kitty. I hope you gave your kitty all the treats and boxes after that. She forgot to end the call. You know. Press the red button. I heard them talking about who was going to shower first. Should have yelled through the phone, "Save some of the hot water for me." I woke up in the middle of the night when she was in the bathroom. Used her phone as a light. Saw texts from her ex about how good it felt to come inside her the day before. Went out of town my grandfather's funeral. Came back 12 hours early. Other dude's truck in parking lot at 5 AM. Been over a year. And still FK'd up over it. Edit. FCKU Tabitha. My friend told me after her boyfriend and my girlfriend were caught FKing. Putting on a movie for our 2-year son on the laptop. Messenger goes off with message previews. Some guy saying how much fun he had the previous night. While she was supposed to be helping a friend at work for extra money. So I decide to read more of her messages and find one of guys thanking her for a threesome while she was 6 months pregnant with our child. Confront her. She plays dumb. Then proceed to show her screenshots of all messages. Now happily divorced, cheers. Posted before, but she was having an argument with a housemate and they said, "At least I don't cheat when I go away," just as I walked into the room. Don't know how intentional that was, but it turned out to be true. I transferred to night shift at work. To go to school during the day. She had all the time to do what she wanted. She went drinking with friends from work. I knew the guy she worked with flirted with her. She promised his wife would be there. Texted me at 2:30 am saying they wanted to go to a different bar. I said I'd pick her up. Bars close at 3 AM. Drove 45 meters to find them in the car. Worst night of my life. Finally got over it. I'm pretty happy. Was with her for 7 years. I'm 27. Hard for me to want to be with someone. I don't see myself daydreaming of a future with anyone. Now I just daydream about building a business and traveling. Not sure if that's good or bad. Edit. I've been by myself for about 2 years now. And I'm totally happy. Life has gone 180 from where I was. It's just me. So it's been fun and easy to focus on moving forward. Thanks for all the kind comments and support. I'm glad I'm not alone. But sad that this happens to others. Live life one day at a time. Suspicion from wording in letters from when I was deployed. Pressed her when she started to slip again after I got back and she confessed. Dumped her. She got with him. He knocked her up and left her that same day he found out she was pregnant. Bullet dodged. I was sleeping in my bed. She was sitting on the edge of the bed undressing and touching herself for the guy on webcam. They were talking about how they slept together the days before. Jesus Christ. That's ballsy. My fiance went on a series of business trips to the same city. After the first one, she told me she met this really cool DJ at a bar, that I had a lot in common with him and would love his music. I grew suspicious with how much she learned about him in a short time. Several trips later, she told me she'd be staying with a girlfriend of hers down there and tagged herself at a restaurant with her friend. The friend was real and had an open FB profile, so I clicked on it to explore. The girl had tagged herself with my fiance and that DJ. When my fiance got back from her trip after an exchange of standard pleasantries, I asked her how many times she had slept with the DJ that week. Without surprise or skipping a beat, she told me she had absolutely no idea. They got married on our wedding day. They're divorced now. She was in the toilet. Her phone flashed up. The message notification read, "Did you tell him?" Full stop. Apparently the message was about something completely different. But after I bluffed her into thinking I know more than I do, a name and that something's up, she confessed. 10 years relationship destroyed. No turning back. Easier to build up trust with a new person than with someone that cheated on you. And in long-term relationships, marriage, you have to trust each other. It's been a few months now. Can confirm it gets easier. It's there. On the back of my head. Every day. But it does get easier. She sent me Snapchat videos of her f***ing people. On Valentine's Day. Edit. Thanks for the support, everyone. I knew she was for months. She denied it. I begged her to admit it so we could just move on. Laying in bed one night, I remembered she had logged onto Facebook once a long time ago through our Nintendo Wii. I dug it out. Opened it up and it had the password saved. So I went into her Facebook. 3,500 DMs that month alone between her and the dude. Trash talking me. Fkin CNT. Semicolon. Dude, that we was a bro, holy shit. Her best friend called me while my ex was having sex in the background to tell me she thought it was best that we broke up. Yes. I heard it all. And yes. Her friend was in the same room as my ex at the time. Edit. Just saw the replies to this. And I gotta say, thanks for the supportive words. Yeah, the friend called me maliciously. She even made sure I could hear what was happening at the time. And I was upset, but I hung up the phone. Moved her shitty onto the curb to get thrown away and never spoke to either of them again. Tried my best to brush it off. Another bonus breakup for you guys. Quickly. Had my GF over at my house with a few friends. Was making everyone food in the kitchen. Went to my bedroom to tell my GF dinner was ready and found her f***ing a guy in my bed. Yeah. I have a few of these stories, lol. I had walked in on them snuggling and watching Deadpool together in his bedroom. Out of nervousness, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Do you want to watch Deadpool?" The dude told me. We used to go to school together. Saw him on Facebook and requested friendship. He asked me how I was doing and I told him that I was great. Girl and I were about to celebrate our anniversary. He apologized to me and said he had to tell me that they had been f***ing for the last week. Said he didn't know we were together and I believed him. He sent me screenshots of pages of text as proof. She got called out by the both of us and we are still very good friends. And I. F***ing lying skank. Everyone seemed to know before I did. She was spending a lot of time with this guy who was her boss at the time. He's like 12 years older than her, so I didn't believe it. Until she told me she was leaving me for him. That was 7 years ago. Called at 3 AM to pick her up at the police station for DUI. Wonder WTF she doing, so I asked to see her texts. First time ever. She scrolled fast but I saw one that said down for a FCK session. 3 years wasted with her, but she is crazy, so I dodged a bullet. When I called my friend from my husband's phone, the way she answered hello was unlike any other time I had called her. I was so shocked. I just hung up. Later, I would confront her about this and she full on admitted how much in love she was. They were together and she wanted to remain friends. Semicolon. WTF. I noped out of everything having to do with either of them. Semicolon. I was trying to change my Gmail background picture. Went to Google Photos to choose a picture. Her account was still logged in. Turns out the vacation she was on with her best friend was actually with her ex. The first picture in the feed taken that day was her kissing him. I almost collapsed. He was lying on the bed next to me sleeping. My phone rang with his name on caller ID. Oh, answered it. In my job I traveled a lot for several years. I got promoted and my traveling days were finally over. So, now that I was going to be in one place full time, I proposed to my GF of 2 years. She said no because she was already married. Imagine that. I was the other guy for a little over 2 years. Through a friend, I let her husband know about our 2-year affair. Last I heard, he forgave her. A woman called me and said hi. You don't know me, but my boyfriend has been f***ing the shit out of your wife for a couple months now. Chick that called was cool. We dated for 5 years after my divorce. Been married for 4. It was thoughtful of my STBX to introduce me to her. She's a way better wife and mom. Edit. Typo. Mobile. She got pregnant. I'm a woman. She had the guy's phone number saved as her sister's name in her phone. He called at 3 AM while she was sleeping. I woke up, saw what I thought was her sister calling and answered thinking she might be in trouble at 3 AM. The other guy was as shocked as I was about finding out she was two-timing. I woke her up and said, "Guess who I am talking to?" She just screamed out "NOOOO." I packed my shit and drove home right then and there. 4 years down the drain. I'm now married to an amazing trustworthy woman, so it all worked out. We were on vacation and her phone kept buzzing over and over again. Eventually, I got pissed off and looked to see which of her overbearing friends was blowing her up. Not a friend, but a male co-worker of ours. They had been exchanging nude photographs and talking about a planned rendezvous when she got back from our trip. I used her Apple Watch at the gym and a text came up. "Don't worry. I won't tell anyone. Don't feel bad. We had fun." She FK'd this guy while I was away for 1 day. Then FK'd me when I got home before telling me. Kept saying she swore she was gonna tell me. We shared an apartment and couldn't afford to move out, and she kept FKing him even after I forgave her and offered a chance to work things out. We had a life together. I was so FKing happy with her. You never got an apology because she's not sorry she did it. Only sorry she got caught. Woke up to a random phone number texting her on a third-party messaging app. After being broken up for a while, we got back together and things were fine. She went to therapy and was getting help. And months later my friend sees her with her arms around someone else downtown and sends me a picture of it. One of my best friends sent me a photo of my girlfriend and the dude she was seeing on the side in the car park behind her place of work. My friend apologized profusely for sending the photo but said it was only right that I know. Which I agree with, and I can't thank my friend enough for sending it to me. Been 6 weeks now. Edited to make it clearer. I had been DD for his friend's birthday celebrations. After getting home and putting my drunk husband to bed, I went to grab his phone that was still playing music in the other room. A text popped up from an unsaved number saying she didn't feel right being the other woman after having met me. She was our bartender all night. Ex-wife got a Snapchat in the middle of the night. It was a selfie of him. A lot of him. When I confronted her, she owned up that she had been cheating for the past month. I forgave her. And we tried to work through it. 2 months later I went out of town on business. And she invited a different guy home from her work. She left a trail of text messages that I ended up reading. I was shaking so hard that I thought I broke my phone when I dropped it. There is a lot more to the story. Delayed flight. Google rewards asking if she enjoyed her stay at the DoubleTree, etc. I'm now happily divorced and have been with the love of my life ever since. Suddenly had a bunch of guy friends she was hanging out with at all times of day. Even spent the night at one of their houses without telling me. Not me. But my mum found out about my dad cheating on her with her friend. I remember being about 8 years old and hearing yelling one night after I'd gone to bed. So being an inquisitive 8-year-old, I went to investigate. What I heard was my mother crying and going through the names of all the women she knew, asking my dad who he was sleeping with. It's been 15 years. But I can still hear her voice saying all those familiar names. Thought I'd surprise her by coming home 2 days early. The day after Christmas. My former friend had to cross my kitchen to open the door when I knocked. You only need to cross the kitchen if you came from my bedroom. Surprises were heard by all. His ex-girlfriend showed up at his house whilst I was there. She was begging him to take responsibility for the child she had been carrying for 5 months. We had been together for a year. See. Edit. Comma. My ex-wife was FaceTiming an old friend of hers and deleting the history. He lived in another state. I happened to see one briefly pop up on my phone. And then deleted. We shared call histories. Went into pie mode to find out everything about who he was. They had been Facebook messaging all day every day and sharing selfies with each other. I actually forgave her and wanted to work on our marriage. Then she cheated on me in person with someone else 6 months later, which our friends knew about it and said nothing. It was then I realized they were not my friends. I saw the texts that confirmed it. I've been having trouble trusting women since. Even my current girlfriend. I'm getting better. I kept finding new razor scars all over her body. She claimed she was cutting again. Then I confronted her about the fact that she had scars going down her back, across her ass, down the backs of her thighs. Turned out to be some Tinder guy named Sheldon who lives with his mom and likes to cut girls. She left. Told all of our friends and her family that I had physically and emotionally abused her. And married him less than a month later. Not mine, but I found out my mom was cheating on my dad with one of the guys I was playing Call of Duty with online. Talk about a small world. I always wonder how he knew it was me. Classic. Stereotypical. Story. I literally came home early and I saw the guy in only boxers and then I saw her walking down in pajamas. I went out with friends but left early because I was thinking of her. Also, went over to his house and found him in bed with a mutual friend. Wasn't interested in working things out. She told me while we're both sitting in the bathtub, I'm pregnant. Which was funny cause I can't hit that shot in Indiana from Australia, where I'd been for 4 months. I was scrolling through Instagram on my phone while he was taking a shower. Noticed he had liked a picture that he conveniently wasn't tagged in. A picture taken of him kissing some girl. Polaroid shots where they were holding each other and kissing. During those couple shots, what was extra weird was all the happy supportive comments from her friends. Almost like they knew. Angry yelling ensued and I said stuff that I now regret because of how mean I was. But I just snapped. We were together for 2+ years and lived together. I had to live with him for a few weeks after finding out, which was awful. It was rough for a while, but it really taught me how strong and independent I could be. Dunno if she was. I found out if I was having any problems in the relationship and wanted advice, I would talk to my friend. He would never really give me advice, but instead relay everything I said to her. She always wanted Sunday free, so she could go see her parents. Once time she wanted to drop something off at my house on a Sunday. My friend was in the car with her. We used to play board games and roleplay games on a Sunday. My friend started off cancelling last minute, then started saying he couldn't make it. She ended up ghosting me pretty much, and I stopped talking to him. I found out months later that they were together. She broke up with me. Instantly was in a relationship with someone else.